Thank you for listening to Lending Thoughts, sponsored by Rocket Pro. Today I'm joined by my friend and fellow mortgage broker, Joe Bondy, who is out of Windsor, Essex, just like us here at Rocket. And Joe and I have a great conversation. We talk about his journey from farmer to banker to then broker. We talk about impact and collaboration in this industry for mortgage brokers. We talk about his journey through this industry and what he's learned from being a broker and the ways that you could service clients and utilize broker technology, which according to Joe is 10 years ahead of the bank. So we're going to dive into that here today. Please have a listen and thank you again. Joe, welcome to Lending Thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Great honor.
Known each other for quite some time.
Yes,
Friends outside of this place, local to Windsor as well, which is great.
Yep.
I've learned a lot from you. I'll have you know that because
thank you.
Starting out. So I thought it'd be good to talk to some folks and have them hear from you as well. But let's kind of start from the beginning. If you don't mind, can you tell us your life story in 60 seconds or less?
Really quickly, I grew up in a farming family. So working in the fields, then as I got old enough, my dad would take me to the Eastern Market in Detroit, and I learned sales from him. It was a family-run business. So I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. I was in the tool trade at the time. My wife was a realtor, and she's a very successful realtor and won a trip with Bank of Montreal, their best of the best trip to Cuba. And I got to meet a bunch of mortgage specialists. And I thought, you guys do this? And you guys are actually pretty cool. I didn't think bankers were cool, but it was pretty good. And then I said, how do I join this culture, this team? And funny as it may be, I talked to the regional manager at the time, and he said, you know nothing about mortgages. Why would I hire you? I said, yeah, but I know sales. Sales is, you got to learn the product. So I'll learn the mortgage product. He said, fine, go to Seneca College, do your underwriting course so you at least know something about mortgages. And growing up with the family, we also always used to play Monopoly, and that was my favorite game. So it's all about mortgages. And so funny thing is the week that I was writing my exam at Seneca College, one of the mortgage specialists from Bank of Montreal quit, and he called me out of the blue saying, hey, are you still interested? I said, funny, I'm writing my exam on Saturday. He says, perfect. Let's write your exam. Once you pass, we'll go play golf at Point West. I'll call it your job interview, then I'll put you up for hire. And then he put me up for hire. I had to talk to some executives from Toronto. They're like, you have no experience. Why would we hire you? And basically, I said, you can either hire me or I can be your competition. You probably don't want me to be your competition. And so I got hired at Bank of Montreal, and that's where it started. 4 years later, RBC came knocking. I ended up joining them and spent 14 years there, and now created with my brother my own brokerage here in Windsor.
All right. What's the name of your brokerage?
We are part of Dominion Lending Center's National Super Mortgage Team is the name of the brokerage.
Awesome. And we could thank it all to Monopoly, of all things.
So the Monopoly, growing up as a kid, every year we'd have a family game sitting around the table, buy and sell properties and mortgage them and so forth. Yeah.
That's amazing. I have a feeling you're not alone in that. Like growing up, I have like vivid memories of learning real estate from Monopoly as well, like how to handle money and, buy, hold, sell, all that stuff.
Trade, negotiate deals. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. What an awesome life skill to learn at an early age. I grew up in the landscaping business. I don't know if you know this about me.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, entrepreneurial family background, and my dad ran a landscaping company. So big part of it was sales. Like we didn't have contract salespeople. We did the sales ourselves and figured out how to communicate with people and make work happen. And work made money happen, made business happen, allowed us to hire people, grow, and learned a lot of it from that. And then kind of accidentally had a friend, just like you, and people that I knew were like, hey, you should try this mortgage thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And fast forward here.
And when you're younger, it's like, yeah, I'll try anything, right?
Yeah, so exactly. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do after that. And it wasn't one of those things that like your school counselor talks to you about. Like, hey, have you thought about getting into sales or mortgages when you're older? So you just kind of fall into it like most people, right?
So like me, you didn't want to work in the fields or the dirt anymore.
No. My dad laughs at me. My hands are soft now.
Yeah. I still got some remnants of calluses. But...
Yeah. So let's maybe talk about, that transition that you made from banker to broker really, because they're two different worlds, but much the same in that you still have a lot of relationships that you need to manage. At the end of the day, you're doing mortgage deals. What was that transition like? What are some of the major differences that you noticed from going to the bank world, in which you were most recently, at RBC for, you said, for 14 years, to now running your own brokerage with your brother and some other folks?
Yeah, I mean, the major thing was that when I was with the bank, you had to play by the bank's rules. You were limited in your growth. Like, although I was top 1% in the country for the last 8 years I was at the bank, I couldn't grow my team. I was allowed 2 juniors and 3 assistants, and that was it. And I begged, please allow me to hire more people on. He said, nope, if you get too big, then you'll leave too big of a hole if you're to leave. I said, if you don't let me get bigger, I'm going to leave. So at the end of the day, my brother and I, because my brother was on my team at the time, we went out and we started our own business. And now we've got 17 agents on our team and 5 admin actually. So we're growing in the last 3 years. And, the thing about the bank is I used to know everything about the 10 products we have. Now I need to know 10 products for the 38 plus lenders that we have. So I got to know like 500 different products so that I can give the clients the best advice. But, there's not one client that I can't get a deal done for. Whether they like it or not is a different story, right? I can present you with an offer and you say, I don't like that. Well, at least I was able to get you an offer. Whereas at the bank, I used to have to say, sorry, you don't fit into our box and we can't do the deal for you. So now I can say yes to everybody in one way or another.
Yeah.
It's allowed the business to blossom and bloom and explode.
That's amazing. So I'll say yes, but you might not like the rate, or you might not like the down payment.
Exactly.
But talk about that learning. Do you feel like you're a better mortgage professional now for having learned all that?
I actually feel like I am a mortgage professional now.
Yeah.
Because I can come up with different scenarios, different options. It's like a puzzle and I can make it fit one way or another. Whereas the other way, I was more of an order taker. And, you want a 5-year fix? Okay. Well, we have a variable too. No. Okay, done. Well, I can say ARM, variable, fixed, 5-year, 3-year, 2-year. Right. There's just so many different options, so many strategies I can use on this side, as far as cashbacks to help you pay for a penalty to get you into a lower rate. Like for anybody who's, had to renew in the last year and a half and had to get in those rates above 5.5. Well, I mean, we can do something with the cashback that'll at least lower your rate, help you pay your penalty and get you into a better monthly payment and a better situation for you. I wouldn't have had those options at the time being with the bank.
And I suppose you've probably also come to learn, managing the alt channel and private business and things like that. You can take the client who's maybe least qualified today, but has the cash flow to afford the house, and you could take it from one lender or product to the next lender or product to the next lender or product, and take it from private, alt to prime, all in a single.
Yeah, we create them a roadmap now.
Yeah.
Okay, so, normally they go to their banks and they're not AAA clients, so they say no, and then they come to us and we put them on that road to, in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, get them back to the A lending side.
Yeah.
Right.
So what are the majority of your clients that you're seeing nowadays? And maybe that's different for you from, other agents at your business, because you still originate yourself.
Correct.
And then you have a team of agents. But what are you guys seeing in terms of makeup or mix from, prime to alternative business?
We're probably, I would say, 75 prime business.
Okay.
And then
that's pretty high actually for a broker.
So but I mean, I come from a bank which was all A. So as they come up for renewal and in the next 2 years, having 80% of all the renewals coming due, those are all A clients, right?
Yep.
Unless they fell upon hard times, they're still going to be A clients. So the bulk of our business is the A side, but we have great relationships with the B lenders, or alt as you call them, and the mix and the privates. So we have so many options. It's great.
Would you think that you would be able to build what you have now had you not spent all those years at the bank? Because you mentioned the fact that a lot of those clients are actually past clients that you had from the bank, and I'm sure you did the right thing and didn't take a whole database with you, but you have relationships, and those clients came back to you.
Correct. It's the relationships and the ability to get things done. I was not always everybody's first choice, but I was definitely their second choice if their first choice ended up not getting it done, and I could make it happen. And that's where I kind of got that super mortgage man, super mortgage team idea, because I was able to get things approved and done and think differently. Mm-hmm. So if I started off at the banks, I would have been taught to think inside the box, and otherwise, because I came from outside the industry into this, I was able to think outside the box and say, well, if you take this and you do this, then this actually works. And, I did a more common sense approach of lending. And most of the lenders love the way we structure deals and will approve them because of our common sense way to approach it.
I mean, it sounds like it's still an effective strategy, that idea of, going out, because the real estate agent, the financial advisor, the attorney, whoever you're dealing with, they have probably somebody that they already, have dealt with for quite some time. And I think often about the mistake that people make, which is like, hey, forget that guy or girl that you've been doing business with all these years. Just work with me moving forward. It's not often that effective. What sounds like you did was go and say, hey, it's okay, you can keep working with them, but if they ever run across a deal that they can't do, just let me at least take a chance and have a look at it. And then you show up like the hero, right? Yeah. When you make that deal work, hence Super Mortgage Man.
Well, funny story is one of the local family lawyers in town. He was in a court case trying to get the deal settled between the husband and wife. Basically, they were saying, oh, the husband can't get a mortgage. And then this lawyer says, well, use my guy. He's a wizard. And then the judge told that guy to come to me to get the deal done. Please use Mr. Lawyer's wizard and get this done. And we got it approved. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Be funny to see that on a court transcript. That's awesome. So as you grow the business and brokerage that you have now, grow the team, I don't imagine you started with 17, right?
Probably no, it started with me and Ron, my brother.
You and Ron.
Yeah.
And then you start adding to the team now. What's ultimately the goal for the Super Mortgage team? Because you're doing exactly what the bank told you couldn't do, which is, build a business beyond a specific scale. That has to be an exciting part of the journey. And I know from growing a team, it probably also has its challenges. So what are you trying to achieve? And then what are you learning?
We're definitely trying to grow the business, create Super Mortgage team as a brand throughout Ontario right now. Right now, we're trying to expand throughout Southwestern Ontario and then move from there, talking to different places, different areas, different agents from all over the place just to join our team. And I mean, the more people we have, the more volume we do, the more bonuses is for all the agents, which is great because we share all that with everybody to grow and have a legacy moving on for, the children, my children, my brother's children, or anybody's on the team, right? We have all team members starting to grow sub teams under them now to grow their own kind of brand all under Super Mortgage. So that's the plan.
That's cool. Very cool. Is there sort of a North Star when you'll, look maybe from a 10,000 foot view and say we did it? Or have you not thought that far?
I mean, the North Star will be, like the way I spent the holidays. I was in Naples, Florida, still answering my phone, on the beach. So I'll answer, say a couple things, talk to my underwriter or one of my other agents, say, okay, I need you to do this, this, and that would be success. I don't think I'll ever retire. I like it too much. I enjoy what I do. I say I truly love what I do. I really do. I don't think I'll ever retire.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. If you can love what you do and not feel like you're working, for the saying before that, if it looks like work to everybody else, it feels like play to you, you probably have a good strategic advantage, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of your business, from my understanding and our conversations over the years, what I know of you is that it's built on relationships, right? So you've got real estate agents that you work with. You mentioned lawyers, found a way to trust you. Builders have found a way to trust you. How have you been able to build that? Because
the first thing I tell every one of my new agents is when your phone rings, pick up your phone. It sounds so simple, but that's the difference between you getting the deal or them going somewhere else. Because we're in an immediate gratification society. And if you don't pick up your phone, you're not going to get the deal. They're going to go somewhere else. And I've been fortunate enough to always live by that rule. And even if I'm at the kitchen table having supper and the phone rings, 95% of the time, I just say, excuse me 1 minute. I'll at least acknowledge them. Hi, I'm just having dinner. Can I call you back in 20 minutes? right? And that way it holds that client steady and they will wait for you for the 20 minutes. But when you send them a voicemail or you send them a text, can't talk right now, they're going to the next person that can talk because they need to know whether they're going to get their mortgage. They need to know whether they can put an offer in on this house.
Mm-hmm.
And the realtors know that. Over Christmas, somebody said, I was thinking who would pick up their phone at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, so I called you. I said, that's great. I better get the deal.
Yeah.
But I did. That's the reputation that I built, that people will call me morning, noon, or night, and I'll be there for them.
And is there a point where you reach in the relationship where there does become a boundary? I'm thinking about the mortgage brokers listening right now, and they're thinking like, okay, well, I'll do that for X period of time, and then hopefully someday I don't have to do that anymore. Or is that just, who you are, and it's just like that's the promise?
I think that's who I am.
Yeah.
Because there's very successful brokers that can shut off their phone, at 7 o'clock at night and just not answer it to the next day.
Yeah.
Right. So, but I mean, who I am, I like to get it off my plate as soon as possible. So
Yeah.
You put something down, pick it up, get it done, move on.
Yeah. And like you said, you enjoy it.
And I enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love giving the advice. I love to educate people. So, a lot of my agents are brand new and young and they need guidance and help on every deal. So they call at 9 at night because they're working on something. I pick it up and help them through it. So.
Yeah. And is that sort of your promise as you think about the agents coming in, or you're trying to convince an agent to join your team, or they ask to join your team? It's like, hey, I'm available.
Yeah, absolutely. I've gotten agents because of that. And, somebody who was with another brokerage said, yeah, I tried calling my leader and they were chopping wood and they didn't have time for me. And I lost the deal. When you lose a deal, you're losing money on the table for you and your family. So
right,
we don't want you ever to lose the deal.
Yeah, it's hard to find. Right?
Exactly.
Totally understand that. Is there some level of pitch? I mean, trying to understand, because your business is running off relationships totally. You guys don't buy leads, correct?
No.
Okay. So fully relationship based.
Fully relationship based.
And, are you still in the state of your business? I'm sure you have agents who are, but are you still in the state of your business where you're going out to find new relationships right now?
I'm always willing to meet a new realtor and somebody who's out there and needs help. I'll take on new realtors. Part of the problem is a realtor will want some reciprocity. They'll want a lead back or something back. And when you get too many in your stable, you can't feed all the mouths, right? So then you have some that stay with you because they're loyal and they love what you do. There's some that say, you didn't give me a lead, so I'm going somewhere else. They
keep score.
Yeah, they keep score, but usually they end up coming back.
Yeah.
Because they want their deal done, because they get paid a heck of a lot more on selling that property because you got them approved than they did on, maybe a power of sale that's junky or chasing a lead that wasted their time, even though they were pre-approved, the people never buy or,
yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, the one in the hand, right? Like if they're working on a transaction and so let's say the commission for the real estate agent is going to be $15,000 on it. The most valuable thing you can do for that real estate agent at that time is close that transaction.
Exactly.
Not give them the hope of another possible transaction.
Here's a buyer that you're going to have to show 300 houses to, and it takes you 2 years to sell them a place, right?
Yeah. 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 You got this client. Let me make sure that this deal gets closed for you.
Yeah.
And just deliver on that over and over again.
Yeah.
And now for what, 18, 19 years?
22 now. This is my 22nd year.
Okay. Who's counting? So what motivates you? I mean, sounds like hard work, yet you get up and you do it every day. And I'm sort of curious maybe how your background tied into this work ethic that you have now. What keeps you pushing that way?
I mean, growing up as a farm boy, you got up early in the morning. Like the farm started at 7 a.m., so you're always getting up at 6. Now I'm in the 5 a.m. club because I read that book, which shows you your golden hours, which makes all the sense in the world, and it's so much more done when nobody else is up and nobody's calling you and walking into your office or banging on the door. So yeah, just always used to getting up early, and I truly enjoy what I do.
Yeah,
so whether it's 5 a.m. till midnight, it's not work to me. And the cool thing about being a mortgage broker is if I want to go play golf for 4 hours in the middle of the day, I can.
Yeah,
it's just time shifting, and as long as you can time shift properly, you're not hurting your clients, you're not hurting a deal, and you can do what you want when you want.
Yeah. Yeah. That flexibility is key. I've seen you on the golf course a few times in my own leisure. Hey, Joe, what are you doing over here? You're like, what are you doing?
Well, nobody's getting mortgages today.
Exactly. So I'm curious because you mentioned, again, the difference of broker world, but another big change for a lot of folks is often technology, going from the bank to the broker. What have you learned about broker technology and what exists today? How does that compare to what you were using at the bank previously?
Broker technology is far ahead, maybe 10 years ahead of what I had at the bank. When I was at the bank, our bank was 10 years ahead of all the other banks. And then once I seen the broker technology, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Right. And, the apps we have access to now, being able to see places like Lender Spotlight, what's being offered, it's 10 years ahead of everybody else.
Wow.
And then the fact that you can offer better rates, better products that you didn't even know existed before. It's incredible being a broker.
I guess it's something I don't think about often because I came into market as a broker here at Rocket Mortgage, and I came from the US, and I'm thinking that Canada's behind. I guess what I wasn't thinking a lot about is the bank and their origination channel is even further behind that of the broker channel, right? Because I've never used bank technology from an origination perspective.
Okay. Yeah.
What would you say some of like the major differences, like from a CRM perspective, if I'm thinking about it that way, like how different is it to manage your client base? Like, were you managing your own client base?
When you're at the bank, you are only getting new deals because as soon as you bring that client in, that becomes the bank's client. It's no longer yours. The renewals are done at the bank. Everything's done at the bank. If they need a refinance, they may call you back. You may be able to help them again. But for the most part, you've got to go out and find 200-300 new deals every single year. Whereas on this side, you find your 200 new deals, but then you have people renewing that come back to you and you can help them out again. So you can build an actual business, an actual legacy, and your own pension here. Like the bank claims, oh, you get a pension here, but their pension is so minute that if you do 10 deals in a year, you've made up their pension.
Yeah.
You got to do one deal a month to make up the pension that the bank's going to give you in the future. So the fact that your clients are your clients and you can help them over and over and over again and give them the best rates possible, and they're not tied in or locked down or have to deal with somebody who's got 3 months on the job trying to give them the mortgage advice. It's just so much better. Anybody who has access to a broker should be using a broker or mortgage agent. And, keep them honest. Go to your bank, see what your bank's offering. But 9 times out of 10, they'll be better off with the broker.
Yeah.
And I don't say that because I'm a broker now. I say that because that's the truth. And I've come to realize that over the last 3 years.
And you probably said the complete opposite before you knew
100%.
It. Right? You were the bank
100%.
guy who was saying, oh, you don't want to deal with a broker. I work directly for the bank.
Yeah. And I need something, you call me and I'm here.
Yeah. And now you've seen both sides and you say with an honest heart, I believe, and honest eyes that brokers offer a better service to clients.
Absolutely.
We believe that as well. We are both a broker and a lender of our own, which gives us some unique perspective in the market and that we can offer our own products. But as a broker, we have fiduciary responsibility to clients that, we're giving them the best product. Isn't always our own products as well, which I think is a little bit of an interesting perspective in the market. But what are you seeing from lender technology? Because, we talked a little bit about the brokers. That mind shift is different. I didn't even think about the fact in the bank world, you're only getting paid on new mortgages, doing it for the first time. So you're actually not that worried about that renewal 3 and 5 years down the line. You're not thinking about the fact.
You can't be. You don't get the option to go back to those clients or be paid on them. You just hope that you did a good enough job for them that they'll give you a referral to their friends and family.
Sure. Gotcha. So it's like all about that first transaction.
Right. And that's why we're relationship driven, because it has to be an awesome relationship and awesome client experience for you to get that next deal moving forward.
Gotcha. When it comes to lender technology, how tied together was the bank's lending technology to the technology that you were using to actually write up the deal and get it off and submit it?
Well, before I left, they just created a new technology that was supposed to be somewhat of a CRM moving forward. Never actually worked. I don't know if it works now, but coming over to the broker side, that's what our velocity is it's a CRM, and the origination program every day I look and I get boom, boom, boom. You got to contact this person, that person. It's their birthday. It's their renewal date coming up in 3 months, and it's all right in front of me as soon as I open up my laptop. So I've got the CRM with my mortgage origination program, and it's brilliant.
Yeah. What about the lender technology? I guess the one difference would be now you've got to pop over to some lender portal to track it. Like, how does that look for you? Do you just have a bunch of tabs saved in the browser
That's
for
exactly what I have.
all the lenders?
All the different portals that are available. And then, we are getting to that point where once I upload it into the Velocity system, it'll just automatically transfer to the portal, but we're not 100% there yet.
Yeah.
We've got about 4 lenders who have that ability right now, but we want to do it across all lenders.
And same for the documents, like the client will upload the documents to you via Velocity's system.
Review them, make sure everything is as I said it was in the application or as they told me it was.
Yeah.
Before we submit the documents to the lender, but yeah.
And then I know something that we get asked about often is like the processing side. And I heard you mention that you basically have a staff of 5 or so admin level. Is that like document processing? Are they handling client communication? How does that back you up? Is that about writing more business as an agent? What's that about?
Yeah, it's all so that you can talk to more agents, realtors, builders, free up your time because, sitting there collecting pay stubs and chasing people down for documents is not a good use of the mortgage agent's time. So we have document specialists that will go and chase down those documents, and then that frees you up an hour, 2 hours per deal, depending, right? To have to keep going back and keep chasing for these documents. We don't have to do that anymore. And it also relieves the stress where you're arguing with an underwriter or fulfillment person at the lenders saying, it's 39.75 hours, not 40. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well, you put 40 down. Like, I need a new pay stub, and then I've got to go back and annoy the client. So it hurts the client experience. Whereas the document specialist will have looked at that, reviewed it up front, and know to go get it before we get frustrated with our fulfillment people at the lenders. That was probably one of the hardest things coming over from the bank is, having to argue with these fulfillment specialists. And my first 6 months, I thought I made a mistake and was banging my head against the wall saying, why did I do this? And this is a good deal, should be approved. Well, it's approved here. Maybe not here, but this place will approve it. And it's the same rate. They just have different underwriting skills.
Right.
Or different underwriting policies, I should say. So.
Some are even just particular about the way you write the notes.
Yeah.
And you start to learn all these little nuances that slowly over time increase your likelihood. I mean, there is something to be said for experience in this industry for sure.
Exactly.
The more you know, the more people that you work with, the better relationship that you have with your underwriter who's going to look at it and say, I've got 100 deals from Joe before. I know that he broke 40, but it was 39.75. I'll just fix it for him and we'll keep moving.
Yeah.
Something to be said for that. So this fulfillment team, I think you call them document specialists.
Correct.
Which is what we call them here as well. How do you define that process for me a little bit if I'm a mortgage agent listening and I'm like, at what point do I hand over the file?
As soon as you get the commitment. So you deal with the client, you tell them, what would you like? Do you want weekly payments, blah, blah, blah. Do you want insurance on it? Yep. Once the commitment comes in, we hand all that over with their lawyer is this, they want insurance or not, or they want life or disability or both. Send it all over to them. And then they'll review the documents that I've already collected because we do docs up front always.
Okay.
So that, I don't want to say that you make 60 grand a year when really you make 48,000 a year. And
you got
a 12,000 bonus
one time.
or one time, retro pay. Oh, I made 80,000 last year. Well, actually, you only make 70,000, and that was a $10,000 retro pay bonus that I can't use because it's not ongoing. And they think that they can afford, 400,000 when really they can only afford 300. And I don't want to send them out with their realtor and waste the realtor's time, shopping for a $400,000 house when it's 300,000 that they can afford, right? So
you kind of have an idea just from knowledge of what are the standard documents that would be needed for a file.
Yeah, we send out what's called a client experience, which is an automated online app with all the documents listed, standard templates, depending if you're self-employed, if you're, a standard T4 employee, it asks for everything. And then the clients will fill that out or we'll fill it out with them. And then they upload or bring in their documents that we requested. It becomes a really smooth and easy process.
And then from there, you've got a package. Picturing this like an assembly line. I'm the mortgage agent now. I've got a package. I've got a client. I've got everything that they've agreed to. I've got the documents. I'm going to pass that along. You're obviously notifying the client that, hey, I've got a team. We're going to be working on this together here. Anything from this point forward, they're going to make sure that this gets processed so that we can close on time. Please be responsive to them. All that good stuff. The documents that you'd mentioned for, I forget what you called it, forgive me, but it's sort of like a set of documents that's going to be needed there. Is that something that's done through the technology that you use, or is that something that you guys created with
the technology allows you to create those templates.
Okay.
So sending out an online app may take me 2 minutes.
Okay.
Right. And I'll just look, okay, well, you're not divorced, so I can eliminate the separation agreement. So I just hit the X and it takes it out and it just sends the list that they need. And that way, when they go out shopping, like the most important thing is that you know what you can afford up front.
Yeah.
We don't just say, well, you know what, you make $400,000 a year, you can go shopping for 1.5 million, you know, or no, you actually only make $100,000 a year. So now you got to buy for 500,000. I don't want you looking at 1.5 million when you can only afford 500,000. Right.
Yeah. Speak to the difference if you could, because I'm going to take you back to that bank versus broker thing. I mean, in the bank world, banks are known for the exceptions when deals are pretty far along at times. Is there truth to that, or is a lot of that myth? Because, I've heard a lot in the broker world of like, oh, well, the bank, despite the fact that my job changed, my assets aren't what they used to be anymore, the bank's saying that they could still get it done magically. And I hear brokers all the time say, like, how are they still doing this deal? This client, they got a new job, they make less, their bank statements don't line up, and yet they're getting some exception. Like, is that real? Like, you have to be more diligent up front?
It depends what bank you're at. That certain banks will look at all the documents up front and then not look again or not question it moving forward. And
that's a real thing.
That's a real thing. Unless you brought it to their attention or there's a significant change to the deal. Switched properties. Oh, got to relook at the documents. Oh, you just switched jobs. That might change the situation, right?
Gotcha. So, some banks at certain times will do the initial pre-approval and call it good right from the initial pre-approval, provided that no additional.
Yeah, there's like certain banks, they'll do the appraisal when the offer's accepted, not the week before closing, right? Which could hurt things.
Right.
Depending where the market goes.
Right.
They'll verify income today, and that's what you'll be approved on. And then they won't ask for another pay stub, even if it closes 90 days. Or even like some builder deals, they'll do, a builder package where they'll say, okay, you're approved for a year. Your interest rate is high, but, we'll hold that approval for the full year to build your house. So,
yeah, I can see where you as a bank specialist previously would have gone out and sold that product to the market. Now, instead, you're selling the fact that I'm going to get everything up front. I'm going to get certainty for you, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, Mr. and Mrs. Builder.
Yeah.
I'm going to get certainty for the client. I'm going to take all the right actions so that way when I say something is good, it's good, right? So now you've got to become the bank.
But you tell them, don't change your job. Don't go buy a new pickup truck. Don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So just change the approach to the sale.
Exactly.
A little bit.
And we educate the client a lot more on this side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, well, you're becoming the mortgage broker for life. Much different,
exactly.
Right? So you're building that relationship. Speaking of, building something for life, it's exciting to watch you and your team grow what you are in Windsor, Essex. I'm curious, you mentioned, building that team, growing it out, but in terms of overall legacy and impact, to wrap up here, what do you want your lasting impact to be on this industry? Because you've written and closed many mortgages in your day. You hold a lot of relationships. You're building something cool and special. What do you want to be known for someday?
I mean, I want to be known as the super mortgage man. Like, I would love to have a national product, right? Super mortgage team across all of Canada. That would be the ultimate goal. And then, like I said, a legacy for either a team member who wants to buy in the future, like be a legit shareholder where you can actually have an exit strategy. See, the bank says that they give you a pension, but it's so minute and they don't tell you the truth when they actually promote it to you, right? This gives you a legacy a sort of pension plan, because you'll have a book of business that you're able to sell. When you're with the bank, you brought in, in my case, 10,000 mortgages, and not one of them can I have in the future, right? I can't sell that. It's not like when you're with a Dominion Securities where you have a book of business and they have something that they can sell. There's a formula that they pay you out and you can have a retirement. On the broker side, you can have a retirement. You can have something to sell at the end of the day. You have a legacy that you can give to your kids. You can bring your children on to help run your book in the future. And that would be the ultimate goal forward.
Yeah, that's very cool. I mean, it's one of the age-old problems in the industry, right? It's just having something that you can build, hold on to, actually has value. Eventually you get to the place where you pass on. I know you said you don't ever plan on retiring, but maybe slowing down to when you're on the beach, you don't have to take the phone call. I want that for you, even if you don't want it for yourself, Joe. Thanks for joining me today. Much appreciated. I love what you and your team are doing.
The one thing I did want to say is when I told the team that I was coming to Rocket to do a podcast, they said, "Are you crazy? What are you doing?" I said, "No, you don't understand it. It's not the competition. There's plenty of business for everybody."
Yeah.
By us being together and helping work together and educate people, we are strengthening the broker side. We are strengthening our career, our legitimacy out there. So we should always work together. Nobody's really the competition. I used to advertise with one of my colleagues on the same billboard. People are saying, "Is there competition? Why are you doing that?" No, we're growing the brand. We're growing the mortgage broker brand, mortgage agent brand. We're trying to make things bigger and better for everyone. So
I appreciate that a lot. I mean, that's a big part of what we talk about, because sometimes people see the name of the brand in Rocket and they know it's the largest mortgage lender in the United States, and they get a little bit spooked and not thinking, hey, you guys are competition, can't talk to you, can't collaborate with you. And it's really a silly mindset, because at the end of the day, people are going to buy and sell properties. People are going to renew mortgages. People are going to continue to refinance with or without us, with or without you. And at the end of the day, for us, it's about brokers. We believe that brokers are the best options for clients. In our hearts, we believe that optionality matters in this industry. And, we want to solve problems. And a broker is not just a place that you go because you don't qualify at the bank. You should start with the broker who can give you the best options. And the best brokers will sometimes tell you that the best product actually is not through me, it's through this bank directly. And even if that means I don't do your mortgage today, I'm going to do your next one, or you're going to send me a referral for a friend or family member, and I'll do their mortgage. And that's what makes the world go around in great relationships. And they will remember that person who said that, I'm not going to do this mortgage for you right now, but let me take a shot at your next one. Right. And I think that, yes, we get paid quite well in this industry for doing what we do. But at the end of the day, we are advisors and we're providing a service to people, and numbers and money follow. They don't lead. So thanks for being a friend, and thanks for supporting the broker community.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.